Howdy, folks. I'm a Flan,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Leaving My Boyfriend on the Side of the Road? I'm a 26-year-old female, and my boyfriend is a 27-year-old male, and we've been dating for almost a year. And something that's always bothered me about Nick is that he does not believe in maintaining or taking care of his vehicles. Background. To give some context, Nick bought his car brand new about 5 years ago and has put 70,000 miles on the vehicle. Since purchasing the vehicle, he has never had an oil change, nor does he do any kind of regular maintenance. I would like to clarify by saying that Nick's refusal to maintain his vehicle is not due to any kind of financial insecurity. Nick has an incredible job that pays him very fairly. As a hobby and a side job, I like to restore vehicles for profit. I am by no means a mechanic. I mostly clean up vehicles. I do a little body work and paint restoration. However, I do have a pretty fundamental understanding of cars, and I know the basics. And the story. Nick called me yesterday on my day off and told me it was about 10 minutes from my house, and that he had a flat tire and asked if I could come and help him out. I grabbed my tool bag and headed out. When I got there, Nick did not only have a flat tire, but his front left rotor was cracked. The rotor is part of the car's brakes, and his rim was bent. I was telling Nick that his car was undrivable and that he needed to call a tow. Nick started arguing with me and telling me that it was just a flat tire and that it was not a big deal. I tried showing Nick how bad the damage was, but instead, he told me that I was overreacting and that he just needed me to change his tire. I refused, and in Nick's own words, I started mothering him on how poorly he had taken care of his car. The argument got heated, and Nick lashed out at me, saying things like, just because you have a set of pink tools and watch YouTube videos doesn't make you an effing mechanic. After Nick said this, I started to pack up my tools and I told him that he was right. I'm not a mechanic, but that he should probably call one because I'm not going to change his tire. I left Nick on the side of the road and he refuses to talk to me until I apologize for abandoning him. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
I don't think OP is the jerk in this situation at all. Like, you were trying to tell him that his car was undrivable, and he wanted you to change the tire. Like, this is not going to solve your problems, Nick. You're not going to be able to drive your car just because she changes the tire. And I like how the guy's like, he can't even change his own tire,
Mm-hmm.
right? He can't even, not that that's like a big deal, mind you, but he's arguing with someone who repairs cars on a regular basis and knows a thing or two about cars with the physical damage with his vehicle. So I think that this is like really bizarre that he would pick this hill of all hills to die on. Be like, oh yeah, you because you have fixed cars and do mechanical stuff clearly have no idea what you're talking about just because you've only watched YouTube videos. I think that he's acting very unreasonably, and I would have a hard time faulting OP. Like, he wasn't going to listen to them, and he wasn't going to like get in OP's car. So not your problem, OP. Not the jerk. He has a lot of nerve picking a fight with someone he called for help. Right, my thoughts exactly. The lack of respect is mind-blowing. Calls for mechanical help, berates OP for about being a mechanic. Yeah. And then someone's suggesting that this should go in r/choosing beggars. It really should. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Being Rude to My Brother-in-Law in Front of Everyone? And we do have some content warnings on this one. This one does involve, like, the boundary violation, general boundary violations, kind of creepy behavior, and potentially treating someone like an incubator, all the way up to potentially someone planning to kidnap a child at some point in time. So I mean, this is some content warnings here, just to let you know. Oh, and infertility. So let's get started. I'm a 19-year-old female, and I'm pregnant with my ex's, a 22-year-old male's baby. And we're on good terms, and when the baby is born, we'll have 50-50 custody. Well, 2 weeks ago, I moved in with my sister, a 35-year-old female, and my brother-in-law, a 37-year-old male's house. My sister and brother-in-law practically begged me to move in with them because they wanted to experience being pregnant. My sister is infertile. Living with my sister and brother in law has been very stressful. They are always on top of me about my eating habits and are always around me, especially brother in law. Well, brother in law insists that I think of him as the baby's father. It's really annoying because when my baby's actual father is around, he feels the need to always one up him. One time, when one of my sister's friends came over, he talked about the baby as if it was his. Well, yesterday, my other sister was hosting a family dinner at the house and brother in law came. While I was on the couch, he came in front of me and started talking to my baby and referring to himself as daddy. It was extremely embarrassing because everyone was looking and I was really mad. I told him to get away and stop touching me. Brother in law looked very embarrassed and my sister was very mad. They both left. After that, I went to my brother to get my clothes and everything from my house. I got a thread of text from my sister calling me ungrateful and a C word. She told me how I embarrassed her and her brother and my brother in law. I asked some friends and they told me that I'm wrong because my sister let me stay at her house rent free and says that some say that I'm not in the wrong as well. I honestly don't know and I need an unbiased answer. I sometimes do say things unfiltered when I feel strong emotions, so this may be one of those situations. And some edit. Thank you guys for the congratulations. I just want to clarify some things. My baby's father does want to be in the baby's life, and we broke up a month before I found out I was pregnant, and yes, we're on good terms. He does live 2 hours away, though, so I don't see him much more than 4 times a month. I understand now that the reasoning for them wanting me to move in was creepy and a major red flag. But from my point of view, I just thought it was her wanting to see what a pregnancy was like because she couldn't have kids. I was not planning to live there my whole pregnancy. It was supposed to be for a month, and I would move back in with my parents. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They begged OP to come and live there, and then they basically start, like, violating her boundaries, getting up all in her business and telling her that, being like, oh yes, child, we're going to be your parents. I would be creeped out that they would be trying to steal the baby. So OP, I would totally make keep everything, right? Keep all of your messages. Make sure that anything they say to you, you have it recorded and potentially even get a lawyer, because this is just one of those situations where what happens if they decide that this baby is the baby that they want, right? They've been trying for a baby, they're infertile, and this guy seems attached. Like, the baby isn't even born, and he seems like he wants to be the father. So I would be very, very careful here because it seems like they're going to do what's necessary in order to get you to either, adopt away your child or take it by CPS or any number of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do not play around with this. This is fire, and you need to, get help as soon as possible. And I'm thinking legal help here. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. OP, do you think someone convinced them that you would allow them to adopt your baby, like your mom or someone, because that behavior screams that they view that baby as theirs? I agree. They fully expect that they would be able to adopt this baby. They probably talked about it so much that it became an established fact in their minds, but they had forgotten to inform the child's actual mother about this future. That's what it sounds like. Someone being themselves. Experience being pregnant. Yeah, right. Consider the brother-in-law is the baby's father? I mean, what in the world? Yeah, like, this is just mind-blowing. It really is. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Girlfriend She Is Cold and Cynical? My girlfriend is a 26-year-old female and I'm a 27-year-old male. And we've been dating for about a year. We've been talking about more serious matters since I want to ask her to move in with me. I'm a pilot and she's an engineer. And we met through work. She is definitely the most responsible and practical girl that I've ever met. And it must be the engineer in her. She's very pragmatic and very mathematical, which I find very attractive. But recently, we had a conversation that I find a little troubling. We were talking about having kids, which she says that she only wants one, maybe two. To be clear, I don't have an issue with that. I don't want a huge number of kids, but I asked why. She told me it was the amount that she was comfortable raising alone if she became widowed or a single mother. I was shocked that she had thought of that, and I told her that I would never leave her to raise the children alone, and that she told me I can't promise that. Plus, she's worked around enough pilots to know how common cheating with colleagues are or divorce are, and that she would expect me to be faithful for our relationship to be permanent, but she won't put herself in a position of relying on me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing and asked her why she would date me if she assumed that I would cheat. She shrugs and tells me that cheating is extremely common, and all of these people's spouses didn't think that their partner would cheat on them, and they do it anyway, so she would never use faith on something like that to guide her life. I just don't know what to say and asked her if she is cynical because she's been cheated on. She gets annoyed and says her ex was surprisingly decent people, but she would rather learn from other people's mistakes than her own. I told her that was so cold, and that she told me to look back on this conversation in 20 years when I'm older and wiser to realize that she is right. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Joke.
OP. OP. She's telling you that she's comfortable with raising two kids because there are potential futures out there that are not under her control. She says that she's calculating out these variables essentially, and that she's thought of a situation in the future that has a potential of happening. And the thing is that she's not wrong. There are cases where people cheat, and people do cheat, and relationships end. And she's just telling you the cold hard facts, and I'm sorry that you don't like the cold hard facts, right? So you can't promise that you're going to be around forever, right? Like, there are things that are outside of your control and that may happen to you, and that you don't have any ability to have any say in. And that's just life, right? Life is unpredictable a lot of times. We like to believe we have a lot of control over our situations, but sometimes we don't. And that's just the way it is. So, OP, I think that you're acting a little unreasonable in this situation because she's absolutely right. There may be a future where you two aren't together, and she doesn't want to be stuck with more kids than she can handle on her own, which I think is very reasonable and very pragmatic. So, I don't think that she's a jerk for telling you the truth. If you don't want to know the answer to a question, then don't ask the question? Maybe? So, yeah. Take care and good luck. In this one, first comment does have a content warning on death. So, you're the jerk. She's right. You can't promise that you'll always be around. You could get into a car crash and die. She's just being real with you. For someone who claims he loves those qualities in her, you don't like her words because they aren't music to your ears. Would you rather her lie to you at this point just for you to hear what you wanted instead? Also, depending on his route, she'll effectively be a single mom for many days a month. My best friend is a flight attendant, and she's in a hotel probably 10 to 15 nights a month. That means 10 to 15 bedtimes that would have to be wrangled solo. That's actually a really good point. All right, folks, it is tea time. I hope you have your beverages of choice. I have a tea.
Water.
And Amber has water. And we've got jokes for you. What gets wetter the more it dries? A towel. I'm sure we've heard that one before. I don't know from this book. That's an old one. Oh, and I have Earl Grey. They're all old jokes though because the book's old. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like, and if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Oh, happy Monday. Happy Friday, Junior's Eve. I don't even know what flan is. All I know is it's a food, and it's a food that's very delicate, so I'm a flan. I'm your biggest flan. I'll follow you until you eat me.